because we talked about how Jaru was playing a lot of the McCree last map, but he wasn't really playing the Hanzo. Yet they had Sharp playing the Hanzo instead of the McCree.
Well, speaking of Sharp and McCree, they've gone back to what was so effective for them in the past. Now, they're not going to be going up against a May Reaper here, and yet the McCree's still not bad against what we see for here for second win. It can be a little bit tricky, though, because Sharp not going to be getting the hard pocket that Ezire is on the other side, and Envy just going for the brute force method. They're trying to take the top away. They're using the Immortality Field to push the Winston back, but they haven't claimed high ground here just yet.
They're going to go for the second repush, but Shredlock already has 80. And there it is. Bye-bye, Sharp. He gets hit with some damage. Shredlock finishes him off there. And without Sharp there, it's still possible for him to win this fight, but Shredlock can re-engage. And there's no flashbang to stop him.
Sharp is the heart of this composition, though. It's what gives it fight. It's what's scary. Second win doesn't have a lot to be afraid of. With Sharp being down, and now Ezire ends up falling. Half-Cool got in on the flank. This one looks like second win was in a great position. It's not at all. Shredlock ends up dying in the corner, and Envy turned that around in a flash.
That was an incredible drop down from Envy. The damage this comp brings, that's the #1 thing here. That sure, you lost Sharp, but second win, they had to still finish those frags when Envy dropped, but Envy have superior sustainability because of the Batiste. They have superior damage because they're running both the Xin with that comp as well, and the Orisa to make sure that he's keeping himself alive. So if you're not having an effective dive, if you're not being able to isolate the squishies, even with Sharp down, then Envy's comp is oftentimes versus that Winston D.Va going to out-sustain and out-damage.
So, Envy, a very quick point A take despite a setback. Second win, though, poised to fight on back. EMP Barrage locked and ready, and I don't think they'll be wasting much time. Frill set up behind the point, gonna drop the EMP. He's breaking 3. Barrage from Ezire the top, takes an arrow mid-air. Not quite the step they're looking for. Crimson is able to get the Transcendence, and Envy fighting their way back over. That's the Supercharger and Bomb to make this a little bit more decisive. It's missing a lot, in fact. But it works out. They take the point, and second win. It's going to take a while to reset.
And these ults are a lot cheaper for you. You have to remember that the Supercharger and the Valk being used for Halo, I'm assuming he's going to be swapping. He won't be staying on the Mercy. They're probably going to swap off the Pharah here as well for the recontest. But yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. So Halo will probably go Lucio. But these ults are a lot cheaper for Envy. The Amp Matrix, the Supercharger, those are all pretty cheap ults. Even the Trance are all pretty cheap ults in comparison to what the Barrage was, what the EMP. Second one pretty much used everything that they had, and now they've had to swap entirely. They get the Mei, they get the Hanzo, and they're completely ult neutral besides the D.Va bomb. Caden's going to have to not only eat ult and deny ult, but look to zone them with the bomb.
Sharp also has incredible positioning for this fight. This is so tough for second win. Down on ult. They have to hope that this bomb is the Miracle Bomb up over the top. Gets an Immortality Field, nothing more. Jaru firing back the other way. HamTornado gives up in his life, but this is a scrappy fight that's good for Envy, and McCree loves scrappy fights like this. Gets 2, looking for a little bit more. And this should be end fight. All just gonna make it easier. They get point B, 4 minutes, 37 seconds as they move forward into point C.
And the crux of that fight was that second wind has to come into that fight completely ult neutral. And Bomb, you would say, oh, Bomb's a great ult because Orisa is stationary, you can't move your shield around, especially once you force it. But they had Fire on Batiste, and Immortality Field is an ult that denies a lot of these big bang ults. And even though they got really dead center with the D.Va bomb, the Immortality Field keeps everyone alive on the high ground, and they still had ult, and they had a better comp for the follow-up fight.
So Envy deciding they want to run the mirror once more. And as you go into a very compact area here in the Bonnie last, particularly the choke point, it does make sense. We'll see if this works out a little bit better for them than it did the last time. Early Coalescence out here from Bird. Flying bit pressure, but second win. They're in reverse right now. Heavy pressure on the Caden. D-Mac coming on out. The Supercharger going to give you a huge advantage in the middle of the fight. And the bomb making it even better. Takes down 2. Envy continues to roll.
Frill almost finding Jaru there. That would have been such an important pick. This could have changed up the entire fight if Frill was able to find Jaru. But Numlock had the Fortify up, runs to his side, and gives him the shield. Now with that bomber with the presence of Bobby. Now can't they even touch? Can't they even stop the point? Second win, they're going to roll out here, but they have no ult. They have no presence.
Well, they're on a whim and a dream here, but guess what? It's getting chilly. Not the stuff of dreams. And all right, just overshooting just a little bit. Hops on over. And it's not going to be the delay that second win was looking for. Envy speed runs on Nambani. And a much better showing for Envy as well on the Reaper Mei there and how they set things up.
They also didn't play the Moira, they were playing the Xin. And they use the flow of that fight very well, where they get the early Discord on, they get a lot of the early damage, and as soon as Second Wind invests the Supercharger in the Coalescence, then they pop Transcendence because they can counter both those ults at once. There's no antis on the field for Second Wind. They take the fight aggressively and allow Jaru to freeze the front line and set up that Blizzard.
They also had very good focus fire on the Kaden, where once you get rid of the Diva, the Reaper May does lose a lot of its perceptive tankiness because you rely on the defensive matrix to just give you buffer windows for the Reaper to heal up a little bit more, for the May to make space, get another wall. Once you lose the Diva, it all just kind of falls apart.
And that's really for Envy, is that they were hoping to just take one fight and then hopefully win it, but they were going to swap to the Moira afterwards if they needed to. But being able to take that tempo fight with the Trance and have Sin on the field allows you to keep a Discord on the Diva, get the early focus, which is what they did when they froze and removed Diva from the field, and it sets up the rest of their comp exceptionally well, because then it's even harder to pressure Crimzo in the backline.
I think the thing that's really tragic here for Second Wind as they set up for their attack is that they need to be very quick here. Just a run-of-the-mill offense, probably not going to be enough to take this to Bonnie. So they're already looking at a very difficult situation because Envy kind of shocked them a little bit with what they ran out with. And you think back to that very first fight of last round, Second Wind, they had a big advantage. They took down the McCree first, and one overextension just snowballed incredibly heavily against them.
So Envy they're going to be on the defense here first. They're running a lot of Mercy, also keeping that far up, and then square on the Sombra, or rather sharp on the Sombra. They're just going to poke. It's actually, with Izar on the Hanzo now, these are very similar compositions for both these squads. Both teams are looking to poke, break shield, and get an early pick. But Second Wind, they have the far better damage, especially now that they can sustain through these fights where they have the Batiste, they have the McCree. It's all long-range damage for Second Wind. They're going to look to take the high ground, force Numlocked off, and control the space on the point.
Second Wind can be going for the high ground battle here, and this can be dangerous, where, like you said, they're going to try and force their way on through. Jaro just saying they're laying in rockets, and you really have to pick and choose the moment you try and pierce through carefully.
Second, we're going to go for this approach once again. Both tanks off the high ground now. And you see the backline anti, but they have Immortality Field. They're not going down just yet.
However, Frill ends up falling after taking down Jaru. It's still much better for Envy. Half the pull, extracting a lot of value in the back flank. This Diva, and Second Wind, just down in manpower. They really can't go forward into this right now. They have to wait for respawns. And the Bonnie, remember, they're a little bit equidistant. By the time they're back, so is McCree over here for Envy. Or sorry, for Second Wind.
I like how Jaru is playing this. He's playing very far back. He's also making sure that if they go high ground, he's saving the boot for them to remove the tanks off of it. Frill getting a little aggressive there on the flank. He gets tagged with a rocket, and then Half Equals there to follow up. So Frill down again. So now they don't have the McCree. They don't have that DPS player. Second Wind has to reset.
Someone needs to tell Frill that McCree isn't May. You can't just go and freely flank on McCree. He's a hero where, despite his independent persona, he needs a lot of help.
Well, I think the flank there is fine if Second Wind was pushing at the same time, but there's no space. There's no space made for him, so you definitely can't do a crazy flank push like that before your team has started to engage. Second Wind once again setting up here to come up on the high ground.
They're going to use the Amp Matrix, and Amp Matrix is pretty scary also in this situation. They're looking for the poop off, not quite gonna get, but this is so much damage! Moving on in, Envy firing back, they get the D-Mech. Those were fat rockets coming in from Jaru.
That was, if you were Second Wind, you had to see your life flash before your eyes. You used the Immortality Field very early. The EMP catches 6. That was a 6-man EMP for Sharp, but Envy couldn't chase into the room, and actually that was the best case scenario for Second Wind, because they've not only removed EMP, but they can regroup, they go back into this fight, they don't get a full wipe.
Jaru aimed back over the side, and it's not just rockets, it's also rain in reserve right now, although, ooh, 2 HP! We don't know if he had a dream or not, but looking back at Frill, again, coming in off the flank, and almost pays dividends that time, but now he's forced on out. Jaru's just gonna ignore him. Now he's gonna go back the other way, look at the main fight. Sharp takes down McCree on the other side. Now, just casual pressure in from Jaru.
Second Wind have not figured out how to break this hold. If they're going to go high ground, they need to just remove these tanks very quickly and just have one person watching for the Diva. But now they're not rushing the tanks. They're not removing these tanks from high ground very quickly for Envy. And the entire time, Frill's flanking main alone. And that's what happens. They lose Frill early again because he takes some damage and Sharp hunts him. They're not having a good time pushing this. If they're going to split push, they need to send the Diva or someone else with Frill. And if they're going to commit high ground, they need to just commit high ground and have only one person looking for the zone on Jaru.
Crazy solo flanking McCree, just not a strategy I can get behind. If it works, great, but it just doesn't work very often. Second Wind down to their final 30 seconds to make something happen here on the Bonnie. Here comes the bomb, half full, spread the ley lines, moves on forward. We gotta get the D-Mac early.
Kaden was slept and then hacked, which means there's no diva, there's no bomb, there's only 10 seconds on the clock for Second Wind. They are gonna have to wait as long as possible, but they don't have a diva to eat this barrage, and they just used Immortality Field. They have a lot of ults down, they don't have a lot of mitigation for this barrage.
Get pressed onto the point. The Deadeye gonna be silenced on the other side.
That was beautiful. They stopped Jaru from dying with the EMP when he gets halted.
Barrage ready, drops the barrage over the top, deals with the Honto, gives up his life for it, but this is fine for Evie. They still have on the point. However, Bird with 2! Bird makes a third! Not an unbelievable comeback here from Bird. The presence from Zen on top, keeping Second Wind in on the map.
That was 2 incredible plays back to back. And Second Wind, they have to enter against all odds when they don't have Immortality Field, when they don't have Kaden just yet on the diva. And then at the last moment when that halt and Deadeye is coming out, it seems like Jaru is going to be removed from the field. Sharp EMPs the Deadeye at just the right moment to keep Jaru alive. And then even when it looks like all hope was lost for Second Wind, Bird drops that three-man kill there, gets the flank onto the high ground. So well played from Second Wind, keeping their hopes alive here, though they are already behind in the time.
They're extremely behind in the time. Remember, they need to finish with at least something remaining in the clock. If they finish in overtime, it's basically over. The Dragon, Beastire, right down the middle of the body. Numlock feeling awfully isolated, right on one side, a wall on the other. Still hanging in there behind the shield. Bomb up on top and over. Didn't quite get what they're looking for, but the pressure from Second Wind very high right now. Envy, they lose Numlock. They're about to lose more than that. And now it's going to be a struggle for them to get back to point B in time.
Second Wind continuing to move forward here. They're getting close to several ults. The Amp Matrix and the Supercharger, if used in unison, that damage does stack. So you can instantly delete the front line for Envy, who now is swapping fire onto Lucio, Crypts onto the Boiro, so they've gone to a full comp to just rush, try to touch the point if possible. I don't think they're actually going to do it. They're not going to commit because they see that it's not going to be a good time for them. So they're going to wait, they're going to hold the corner. They already know they have the better time bank. And this is looking still pretty good for Second Wind. They haven't gotten Bird off the Zen just yet, and because of this double amp matrix, these double damage dealing matrices that are coming up here, in terms of the damage boost, still pretty good because Second Wind can burn down these tanks very quickly.
Envy needs to be careful here now. Envy might consider dropping Supercharger of their own here, so it could be a very quick and over fight, regardless of outcome. Heading on up here, Supercharger down from the block to start the battle. Can be counter amp made to the other side, but Hatful's bomb over to the back finds Frill. And the bomb giving Envy some sorely needed space here. However, it's a little bit far forward for Fiery. It's a falling Second Wind, gonna keep up the pressure. Envy giving up precious space.
Second Wind, they're still trying to play it. They're trying to play around the Supercharger, giving them a lot of damage with Numlock down. They don't have a shield. They shouldn't invest any ults here if you're Envy, but it looks like they want to keep taking the fight. They're playing the verticality. But Second Wind are so tanky. They have so much damage here.
Numlock's quite bad. It's going to take them a while to set up. They're going to drop the Blizzard here. They're dropping it while down in numbers, so it's less than likely that they get an early pickoff. Maybe Frill. Frill doesn't have Ice Block, but able to drop the wall. Back on over, gets the orb. Second Wind back at full. Now Envy, as they're committing, they get caught. Blizzard back to the other side. Envy eating back up once more, and I don't think Half-Cool's going to make it.
Happy-Cool is definitely not going to make it. Second Wind, they have so much to stay in here on the point. Sharp, he needs to be the one to pop off, but he's down. Envy, no damage on the field, no damage mitigation without Happy. This is going to be Second Wind just walking forward using the bomb.
Envy at this point, they need to start shifting their game plan or the stall. Second Wind's been putting a lot of heavy pressure on them. This fight is still going decent. Now, Envy, they start turning it to a degree here, so that's really, really good. But even if they win this fight, look at the time remaining. 49 seconds left. If the next fight goes even a little bit wrong, just stall. Just stall, drain the clock to 0.
I don't think even, especially with the stagger coming out to Kaden, I think Second Wind, they've been held. They're going to get into OT no matter what now. I don't think they can push it here into the event without OT. So with that, they're going to a draw scenario.
I think you're right, especially with how long they're taking. It also, I mean, that's also questionable for Second Wind is that there's not a lot of urgency. I think they should have committed more there because, yeah, you get one more fight, but look at the greater odds. You've already lost the war.
The Envy rushing forward here. They're looking to put Jaros in position to get the Blizzard. The Fortify is already used for Shredlock. But like, as they'll Fortify, are they going to use it?
Sharp to the back, Frill down and out. Garo's Blizzard taking a lot of room, a lot of popsicles up and around the payload. And all the scenarios, worrying about next round, you don't have to worry about them anymore. Second win held on the Bonnie. Envy, one map away from going to the Gauntlet later this year.
You also have to question how long Bird was on Zen there. Sure, there's no honor to anti your transcendences, especially when a freeze comes out. But the problem with Zen and why teams are running Moira a lot of these times in these comps is that Moira means that you can stay in a fight will last years, years once it's broken down because of all the sustain that Reaper and May have, along with what Orisa and Diva give you. And we saw it there. That fight there on the bin for last, lasted ages. Every point you said, okay, they've gotten the picks, they have damage ult out, but Bird is busy shooting a shield to Zen and doing minimal healing because he has an orb and not Moira heals. And then as soon as the Coalesce is being farmed continuously by Crimzo. So they just could not finish those frags fast enough. And that's sort of the power of Moira and why you, in this comp in particular, and why you don't see Zen as much.
It makes a lot of sense. I mean, for Zen, it's sort of a situation where, all right, if you don't get immense value out of Discord Orb, which is really the main thing you have going for you, this is not going to end well because, you say, Moira, a lot more sustain in that situation, particularly where Envy was more than willing to just kind of bounce back and forth, continue the delay, and second win. They fall in the Bonnie, and now their season at stake. They have to win the next two maps, or that is going to be it. Envy will head on over to the Gauntlet. They'll be in our grand finals tomorrow. But I have to hand it to second win one way or another here, is that it's been close. And given how dominant Envy was during the regular season, if second win loses here today, what an accomplishment for both the team and the org alike.
I mean, they've just had continued success. The roster getting blown up, tank lines being poached, rosters getting rotated around, exchanging out players mid-season, and yet here they are again. And not only have they made it this far, they made it to the semis, but also they're playing very close versus Envy, which is one of the two most dominant squads in North American Contenders in general.
And one of the three most well-supported Contenders orgs, period. I mean, you want to talk about second win, all right, we're replacing players left, right, and center. Yeah, a player got poached, here's a new one, all online and otherwise. Meanwhile, Envy, incredibly well-supported by the Fuel organization. All the players in apartments, they all play together here in the Dallas area. It really, and that's a huge credit to Envy, by the way. I mean, they're doing a great job raising their next generation, but for second wind to even be in the same arena and doing well is just, it's a really good omen for second wind.
So our fourth map is going to be Havana. It's our escort map. And this is where second wind are looking to equalize. They are currently down. Envy up 2. This is where they want to bring it back. They want to take it to the map 5 here. And remember, this is a tough map to draw. So even if you're out there saying, I can see the draw, even if they were to draw, they could go to another map because remember, it is first to 3, but it's extremely unlikely.
Predicting the draw is just the saddest, most hipster thing that's come up in Overwatch culture as of late. I mean, it just comes down where people are predicting the outcomes of OWL matches like, you know, I could go for the 3-1, but no, it's going to be a 3-0, it's going to be a draw. It's like, no, it's usually not the draw. It's not that common of an outcome. And you definitely, not something you should be putting in your predictions, but hey, people still do it. However, here in Havana, it's especially not going to be a draw. As Envy looks to set on up here once more, and it's going to be Jaro to the skies.
Jaro already trying to take control of the high ground using this really high verticality for the first point. That's close response. They're expecting second wind to hold close, and that's exactly what they're doing.
Well, they're trying to hold close right now. They're putting heavy pressure on the Numlock. They're going to get him, but trade-outs here not necessarily great when you're this far forward, because guess what? The spawn room, it's right there. A walk back over for Kaden. If Kaden isn't able to get back in mech, it's a lot longer than that.
Their goal here for second wind, though, is not to just... They're okay with still losing people, even if it's not ideal, because their goal is just to delay time. They're not to necessarily win all the fights possible, just to keep the time down.
Well, I got good news and bad news for second wind. The good news is you got mech back. The bad news is you lost your entire front line. Be down to the Barrage Garu. And that is going to let Envy break this early hold. And it's not bad early hold. Still burn a bit off the clock. I think it's been useful for second win, but Envy's got some momentum now.
I mean, the hold isn't done just yet. It's still ongoing. Obviously, second wind are still going to be losing this fight. I really don't agree with Bird using the coalesces in that fight either, but Coalescence is a cheap fight, is a cheap ult. You can use it almost exclusively. Could be swapping here, especially against Fair Mercy, maybe going the Ana, but it doesn't seem like it. I think they want to keep it for May. They do have Bird back on the Moira. They forced Jaru to use the Barrage there as well, just to keep that fight moving. And I don't think it's an overcommitment by Jaru, but it is something that Envy's going to wish they had now moving forward.
Also, Jaru, just talk about setting the stage here. The Rockets have been nothing but deadly. Second Wind just try and take the fight directly to point, but they're wounded on the way in. It was a tough engage, and the bomb seals the deal over the top. Second Wind just getting pasted on the payload. Envy gonna be able to roll this very likely all the way to the apex of point A.
I mean, beautiful EMP build by Sharp and beautiful usage there that when Second Wind go for the engage, they just drop it immediately, they get the nade, they clean them up. Izar now going to the McCree, wanting to deny this guy, wanting to deny the space for Jaru. And there's a real potential for Second Wind to actually recontest, and that's exactly what they're going to be doing.
They're going on in. They said, you know, we might have gotten crushed last time. Maybe this time we want to get minced. They're going to look for a barrage over the top. Fire goes down. The puree in progress. Envy just putting Second Wind into the food processor.
Sharp has been doing an excellent job of that when they're playing this Sombra Pharah. Sharp is pressuring Kaden almost exclusively when possible. Gets a lot of early damage, gets the hack on Kaden, keeps him in the corner to where he can't move. They even throw the anti so he can't get healed. Their entire goal there for Envy was to bully Kaden, to keep Kaden out of the fight so Jaru was free. Seems like Sharp is going to be staying on Sombra, Jaru is going to stay on Pharah, so Envy are not swapping. They're keeping the same comp. Second Wind going to be doing much the same. And now it's a question of, can Jaru continue to get the same value on Pharah with so much a lower of a skybox?
I mean, the answer is probably no. This is usually not an area that you run Pharah. I just think they're trying to ride the momentum. They'll swap if they lose early. And the Coalescence, not a lot of areas to dodge in this scenario. So with both Fire and Mercy falling, expect swaps here.
However, Jaru's 60 to the Barrage. They have EMP, but no, they are going to be swapping. Good call, I think, for Envy. As you see these staggers coming out, Second Wind just cleaning up these frags. Now for Envy, they're really going to look... I think it's going to be tough for them still to get a great EMP because of how split the geometry is, the verticality difference entering this point. And EMP is also, in general, tough to get value of when you're against a Moira. Moira can always shift out of it. You can save that shift when you look for the engage. We'll just have to see for Second Wind, are they able to engage first, or are they going to let Sharp be able to set up the EMP?
We're going to find out one way or another. Envy still getting good position. Second Wind a bit split. EMP out from Sharp early. However, Jaru picked off by Izar at the start of the fight. They're not going to have to fall through. They think they would have for the EMP. Counter Blizzard by Frill. Very effective at denying space. And Envy just getting denied.
That was definitely not the EMP that Sharp wanted. I think Sharp had to just make sure that when the EP was going to be used, that he was able to find more people. He only caught Shredlock, a solo EMP on the Orisa. Probably the least valuable target in this comp to be catching with the EMP. And then Kaden was split, Frill was split. They made sure to just pop those ults defensively. Envy didn't do a good job of poking or scouting out for it. And now they have to swap here and really take an offense to a tough point because Second Wind holding its high ground. It is a tough point to enter.
Savannah can be a very defensively oriented map, and now the Coalescence, so much value for the spot with the Dragon to back it up. Goodbye, good night. That is incredible damage in one very narrow area.
Another quick fight win for Second Wind. No Cole, no Dragon available though, and Envy, look at their ult bank, looking pretty good for them here. They can try to enter, they can just drop it out early and try to focus that one down, but Izar sniping from spawn, stop Sharp from getting out, so that's enough delay for Envy. So Izar is going to get slept on top, but not really any way for them to punish him.
This has been quite good for Second Wind, who want to bring this to a map 5 to go for what would be an incredible upset. Were they able to pull it off? Supercharger, start things out, half cool. Flares the bomb in, doesn't quite connect to what he wants. Supercharger's down. Here comes Sharp, teleported in, gets the nano. Close range is where Reaper wants to be in the situation. Looking for May, fighting back and forth, and enough damage has been done.
They are definitely winning this fight. It was a good engage for Envy. Great bomb for Happy as well. Bomb is actually something that's so useful versus the Supercharger setup for Orisa, because you can just launch it right over the top, you can destroy the Supercharger, you can displace the enemy team. That's what Envy does there, then they have the nano onto Sharp to move forward. They've swapped again, Crimzo going to the Moira. But this is time for Second Wind to enter the point. They have double support ult, they have Blizzard, they can look to set it up here with both these support ults, try to get the pressure onto the Happy Pool early.
Coalescence up, Second Wind striking back, dropping the Blizzard. right up the stairs, and Envy moves back out once more. However, the one person that couldn't get out was Jaru, and he had a blizzard of his own. However, Sharp still in the fight, bouncing around, Shredlock gone, Dragon up the middle. Envy, they have the beat, they're gonna immediately invest, but it's not time to save Sharp! Sharp falls before he can hear the sweet music. Azizire, plenty of room to work with. And through Haftel drops a bomb, but it's on a whim and a prayer. Takes down Halo. Haftel, though, not gonna be back to get into the mech once more. Lessard's in from the side. Envy still fighting, looking for Frill, forces out the ice block. Envy looking to stall. Haftel's gonna be back in on the Hammond soon. The Blizzard on the point. Find them some space. Sharp's back in, and Envy, they're fighting their way back into the point.
I mean, Envy have won this. They've won this fight. Envy played that beautifully, despite their really quick second win. Frill's Blizzard, they did not get a lot of value from it, and then they once again did an anti-synergy play. They used Diva Bomb and Dragon at the same time in the same location. They didn't say, okay, we're gonna Dragon Strike or Diva Bomb them here and move them here into the other ult. They just threw them both in the same area, and Envy just walks out of them both. They just leave, and then because all those ults have been used for second win, Envy can play tight, they can play close around each other, use their ult advantage to their advantage, which is exactly what they did, and slowly but surely just won the fight because they had better focus fire, they had better ults. Second win kind of just beeping at there at the end in terms of their ult use.
Supercharger down, Supercharger gone. Sharp with the Death Blossom on the other side. Halo carrying the brunt of it. Envy keeping the momentum, moving forward. Envy right now in a really good spot. Second win, trying to delay back and forth. Drill low and down. They're just down too many members here, and this is a slow stagger without a whole lot of results.
One boon to second win is that they are just burning time off the clock slowly but surely. They'll probably get into the OT.
And
now they're just going to have to look for the next engage here as they move back in. As currently, we are going to be waiting for them to just engage, just look for this next fight. Second win, they have Blizzard. Envy has Blizzard as well. It's going to be a setup of Blizzard. Can they pressure the Diva? Early bomb for Kaden. Can get thrown over the top, just going to get blocked though.
Meanwhile, you have Sharp coming in here on the Reaper. Back the other way, Envy looking to keep up the momentum. Blizzard out for second win, but hasn't bought them the space they thought it would. Move out from Halo. As Envy moves forward, Sharp coming on forward, and this is big momentum for Envy. It's in overtime, but they don't care. Point C within their grasp. Sharp chasing down the Diva, almost gets the D-Mac.
Now you see this is just stagger for second win. They pop the Coalescence for Bird. They're trying to come back out here. They're trying to contest the cart. But Envy, their presence is so high. They're playing tight around each other. They have the bomb. They're about to have Supercharger. Happy Gold's going to launch it here, looking to clear the point.
Up and over for Happy. Makes plenty of space. Crimzo there in the fall through. Bird out of the fight. Second win. Just struggling to stay in. Emergency Doomfist is out. But this is on a whim and a prayer. The Death Blossom in from Sharp. It's cleanup territory. Two more going to fall. And it's Envy pushing on through. They finish out Havana as overtime ticks down. That was tense for more than one reason. Not only was it tense on gameplay, but it was so tense that I willed the TV off.
You didn't will the TV off. You hit the remote with your foot. So you might have noticed a little bit of a change in pace there for a second or two in the cast because we turned our TV off. ZP's turned the TV off, so we had to make some quick adjustments there and get it back.
Thankfully, we have the monitor on the other side. It's like, but wait, over there.
So very good coming out there.
Excellent.
You know, and Envy have now pushed the last though, and Havana's a tough map to complete. And I think more than anything else is that Envy can be happy because Havana is always a map that teams are struggling to break into that last cap anyways. But second win have put themselves in a good position because they did burn that time off completely.
Well, it's an interesting position, I would say, because on one hand, you don't let Envy speedrun you. However, you let Envy complete on Havana. And Havana is not a map that's always completed, so for second win, there is only one path forward. Do they move forward, complete the map, go to extra rounds, and keep their dream of going to the Gauntlet alive? Or do they fall here on Havana and see Envy as they take their leave, not only to go to the Grand Finals, but of course, any team going to the Grand Finals secures their spot in the Gauntlet. A lot at stake here for second win, and what could be their final attack of the season.
Envy, they're going to be holding close, playing the May Reaper as well. Just trying to take as much time off the clock, much like second win did previously. They're going to rush around, going to hold the chokes. The second win gonna mirror this comp. So it is that mirror v mirror matchup, May versus Reaper.
Mirror matchup has been something fairly favorable. The second wind in the past, wall already out, and Unlocked is back on out. Doesn't really take too much damage, so the retreat well timed for Seb on the other side. Wall gonna be out, Sharp, value on the other end. Neither team can make too hard, but that halt puts Envy in a really tough spot. Second wind trying to dive in and deal with it, but Envy heal back up, counterfire on the way. Second wind now, find the tables turn just a little bit, but as that happens, Hapical removed from the back. Coalescence built early on the other side. Crimzo finds the May, and Envy not going down here. He's got fire getting awfully low, but he's able to sneak out.
And Bird chasing so deep for that frag on a Hapical was going to shoot out there at the end of the Coalescence, going to come back to his team and heal them up. And second wind looked to be cleaning up this fight slowly but surely. Sharp goes down on damage off the field for Envy. And it's so important when you watch these fights here. It's just like, who uses those cooldowns first? Are they able to get a focus fire on anyone early? And Hapical getting D-Mech that early in the fight. But that second one just had a far better damage trade. They were able to find him very early and really put them in a position to just snowball from there and win the fight.
Also, I think Bird chasing down Happy was really important because the fights are slow enough that D.Va can very easily get back in the mech. You have to make it a priority to chase down the pilot D.Va.
Early supercharger for Shredlock here, hoping to just force his cooldowns out, hoping to get rid of that shield presence pretty early. And that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to force the ice block quite early regardless.
Well, she's going to use here again. Use a little bit extra poke, lose a little bit of bullying. Sharp able to take down his counterpart. Lessard though, second win, 3 frozen here on the point. Fire dropped the beat. Sharp though, falling on the other side. Kaden moving in second win. Evil to get the better of the fight. Envy gonna fall here once more, and I mean, they've drained 2 minutes off the clock, but it's not quite enough.
That was a beautiful Blizzard by Frill. Frill catching almost 4 members of Envy there with the Blizzard, getting Crimzo, most importantly, removing that heal from the field. The cooldowns have been used early by Envy, and they weren't able to escape the Blizzard there. And that's so important to watch, that when a Blizzard fight is up, is that if you use Fortify, if you use your Fly, if you use your Shift, and you can't escape from Blizzard, a situation like that happens where Frill locks everyone in place.
He's gonna go for the recontest here. Happy with the bomb over the top. Force the second win back momentarily, but doesn't get much more than that. Envy stuck by the halt. They drop the Blizzard and point for a little bit of space, but here comes the bomb. Up and over. Gets stop locked in the back. And second wind off the space the bomb created, moving in onto the payload. Point A is theirs.
Not a blazingly fast time. Envy doing a good job of burning time on the clock, but more importantly than the time that they've capped is that they've capped it, they've staggered Envy, and they get to move forward onto this high ground early. They don't let Envy be able to take a fight at the doors, at the entrance to second point.
So second wind, 3.5 minutes, a decent chunk of change here on point B. Envy struggling for an answer here so far. Turns around for second wind. They're going to continue to try and keep the momentum. Counter-firing into the shield. They need to make sure Supercharger doesn't die. Envy, a really good wall there. Able to put it in a rough spot for second wind. Blocking damage on the way in. Frill drops the Blizzard under pressure. All right, it happens as Caden's already down, and Envy just flanking around.
Second wind's still pretty solid on this point. They're getting close to the Death Blossom and Coalescence.
Sharp in on the flank.
Sharp, though, he's just going to get forced. They've also lost fire now, and now they can pressure out this D.Va. They can pressure out Happy and look to their Blizzard. Look to the Death Blossom, I should say.
They're going to use the Coalescence for a little bit more. They take down Crimzo. Off on the other side, second wind, keeping up the pressure. And this is perfect for them so far. Point B has worked out very much in their favor, and Envy, do you even come back out here?
I mean, I think if you want to burn time off the clock, you don't want to give second wind an incredible essentially an eternity to push last. You can recontest one more time, but you know Frill doesn't have Blizzard, and that's the most dangerous ult to enter into, is the Blizzard. And since Jaro has a Blizzard of his own, they're in a good position to walk forward and just try to get pressure on the gate and put Jaro in good.
Well, the double, it's Reaper and Stereo, and Ezire, the stronger part, takes down 2. And the engage much better here for second wind, and Jaro didn't have time to make it cold.
So Envy, they came back out and they took another fight, and they did lose and gave ults to second wind, but more time burned up the clock, and they retained their Blizzard. So they've saved those ults there for this fight. Sure, they trade Death Blossom, but Death Blossom is really one of the hardest ults to set up in this comp. And I think you're fine if you're Envy. You have a little over 3 minutes to push last for second win, but now Envy have a good, pretty stacked ult bank.
If Envy wants to make their lives easier in what is looking more and more likely to be extra rounds, they need to win the next fight. The clock needs to be drained by about 1.5 minutes. Second win, meanwhile, not going down without a fight. Their tournament lives on the line. Lessard early, half full again, sets up the bomb. It's so well placed, takes down the supercharger. That second win, good place right now. Able to avoid serious damage. They drop a bomb of their own on the point. Envy having to start retreating back the other way. They lose their Reaper. Second wind, heavy pressure still continuing.
Second wind making the most out of what they had. They dropped that supercharger extremely early. They forced the cooldowns, the ults for Envy, and then despite still that Jaru invests the Blizzard and it keeps several members down and frozen, Halo had a perfect boop, putting Sharp back into the backline and stopping him from cleaning up those frozen targets. It was so important from Halo to deny the follow-up there in the Blizzard.
Now Envy, they're gonna have decent positioning here on Supercharger. I think the main thing they gotta remember here is stay on the point. Just don't get addicted to high ground, and yeah, they're gonna drop on down. They're not going to wait much further. They want to stop the point here and now. The Supercharger used on the top right, but Numlock's down! The beat, not in time to save Numlock! They're down a main tank, second wind, moving in on the 6v5. And Envy in real danger here. This is not what they want. Down goes Sharp, but that wasn't committed! Second wind moving forward, and they might have significantly more time.
Numlock is coming back out. Happycool has the bomb. He's in the supercharger invested, but if Happycool can clear this supercharger, if he can get them just off the point, the halt though! Shredlock down!
That's a big bomb. Envy showing signs of life here yet. I'm in 3 for second win. Things were going so well for them, but now the wheels are falling off the wagon. It's Envy goes back in. Okay, Sharp and Death Blossom immediately taken on down, but the rest of the Envy in a good spot. Halo not gonna live for much longer. And second wind, they're about to set such a quick time, but they're repelled.
Beautiful from Numlock and Happycool. Happycool in particular, staying alive, playing that high ground, building for the bomb, and then waiting for Numlock to come out. Numlock seeing that bomb and getting the pick. Not only Supercharger, but Shredlock in addition. The tank line for Envy, keeping them in this.
Envy holding back. Jaru with the Blizzard. Second wind. Going to need to find a way to brave the cold. The final 48 seconds. The tournament life on the line. The bomb to the back to start things off. Ice Block keeps Jaru alive. Lives long enough to drop the Blizzard. The Moira already down. Phil gonna fall. And second wind, they just need the backup. They'll get one more attempt, but they don't have much time.
How was it overcommittal there for second wind, especially Bird? They threw the bomb in before they had forced any cooldowns. The time is working against them. You can tell that second wind, they're really focused on the time bank. They tried to engage incredibly early with Kenny's bomb, and all of Envy had their cooldowns up. They had Ice Block, they had Wraith, they had Shift for the Moira, they could escape it, and then Bird went to the front line and got walled off and caught.
Envy feels their trip to South Korea approaching. One fight separating them from their goal. 7 seconds remaining here for second wind as they hope for the miracle. Ezire, the Death Blossom ready. Frill builds up the Blizzard just in the nick of time. We are in overtime. And it's a final fight. Second wind moving forward. Ice Walls trained on now. Coalescence in over the top. Both teams mirroring comps, mirroring cooldowns. But now the Blizzard out. The bomb up and over for Happycool. Second wind withstands. Second wind moving forward on some point. The Reaper. Blossom forward. Numlock down. Man advantage here. The second wind. Second wind continuing the pressure. Sharp about to fall here in the moment. Envy, they drop the beat. Still full up. And then Blossom with their own. Crimso's trying to bring it on back. Blizzard in from Envy. Second wind rotates away from the Supercharger, giving them a lot more presence. Yet Envy continuing to delay. The pressure moving on in. Shredlock firing back. Push. Envy still down in numbers. Dueling Coalescence is here, and Envy down to the wire. And second wind's about to push this one through.
Second Wind are definitely going to get this. There's almost no ults left for Envy. They're staggering out. You see the Widow for Sharp hoping to catch just anyone, but second Wind's presence here is unmatched on the point.
Emergency Widow. Sharp trying to rotate around the side, hoping his team can just find a little bit more time on the points. One Doomfist, one Hammond back on over. Sharp gets a little bit more time, needs to find anything. Does not do it. We go to extra rounds.
Second Wind having the miracle push. It looked like, I had to say, I was getting ready to call it. I saw the Blizzard come out for Frill. It zones the point, but catches no one. I'm like, this is it. They don't have any value. But the fact that they can push forward, get the Diva out of mech, and set up Ezire again, and still survive that counter Death Blossom because of a good beat from Halo. Second Wind are just so good at setting up Ezire here on that Reaper.
So if you're Envy, you can't make your travel plans here just yet. Even as even could be here in Havana. And if second wind's able to take the map, it's going to get a whole lot more even as we're going to be going to a final definitive map 5. And what a story it would be if Envy were the fall here today. Envy the undefeated juggernaut of the division, a team that also went undefeated in the last regular season, only falling at the Atlantic Showdown. So really, this is scary for Envy. And Second Wind, they've just been giving them a very good fight.
And that's why I did say that Second Wind were my dark horse candidate for being able to potentially win NA West, maybe even supplant Atlanta Academy and take their first seed. But especially for NA West, Second Wind have been sort of a candidate to keep an eye on. So Envy, they're going to be on the offense first. Second Wind holding very close, going to tie up during that minute very quickly off the clock with the May Reaper. Envy with the Fair Mercy though, Sharp on the Sombra. They're going to play a very similar strat. Keep Kaden pressured.
Already, Moira took a rocket to the dome. Sharp was there on the follow through. Envy pushing on forward. And now for Second Wind, it becomes more about delay. They're not going to have to sustain the deal with this rocket pressure, even getting 2 down. Look at what Jaro's about to do here. They don't have the Moira anymore. They have no choice but to fall 1 by 1. Lucio, not enough. Envy's going to get through, and it's only about 30 seconds burned off the clock.
And this is a huge bomb for Second Wind because the fight did not last long enough for them to build very many ults at all, especially support ults. And look what they've given to Envy. I don't think Envy want to swap just yet because they know EMP Barrage is going to be available. Second Wind got to walk back out. They have nothing to deny Jaro. Now they put Izar onto the tree, so there is going to be something to actually watch for not only Jaro, but Sharp as well. But if Sharp does the exact same thing he did before, they can just commit EMP, Barrage, or just look for the hack on Kaden. He's going to watch for Kaden. He's going to look for Kaden to set up the Barrage.
This is all to make these a long overtime push. Remember, overtime spawns are a thing where once overtime's in progress, it takes a lot of time to move longer. The respawn. There's the EMP. Here comes Barrage in over the top. It only gets 1. It's not as devastating as I thought. Izire now, room to work with. They let the resurrection go through. Jaro gets to take the skies once more. Second Wind. They committed after the pickoff. I thought they had it, but they didn't. Envy, they withstand. They fight back forward. Jaro, still a threat in the air. The rocket's still raining on him. Gonna get 1 more. Looking for extra here in the moment. Second Wind, they drop the Coalescence. They're gonna try and keep the pressure up. Jaro blows himself up, but the pressure from Sharp, it's enough. Envy's still in control. And who knows where this payload's gonna stop. Second Wind, I don't think they're going to be able to get people back in time to really make a good contest here.
Halo almost saved the Second Wind from Oblivion there with that boop. As Sharp came out of the invis, he boops him away, does not catch Izire or Bird with the EMP, but at the end of the day, Envy had a far better ult bank. They had a lot more damage on the field, and now Second Wind, they are going to go for another contest here. Blizzard is up, Beat is up, no fight winners for Envy. Right now, it's on Happy Spawn to save his team.
Bomb over the top, and no, it's not the savior, it's a little high. Envy though, so we're gonna stay in here. They've got a lot more, Blizzard or no. And they move forward, they get the cleanup they're looking for. And even though Second Wind was able to get back to the point in time, they fall 1 by 1. Envy's gonna be charged for the next point. And remember, this is an overtime push. We don't know where this payload's gonna stop.
Second Wind just not, the bomb comes out and sure, it doesn't kill anyone, but Happy, so it zones the rest of Second Wind to stop them from being able to remove Numlock on that point. Numlock almost went down, was almost finished there, but kept alive from the tank, kept alive from the bomb to the initial zone after they invest the Blizzard. Now they have to walk into Envy's Nano. Now they have to walk into Sharp's Death Blossom. Jaru's coming up on Blizzard. A lot of ults for Envy, and with fire on the Batiste, that means it's going to be even harder for Kaden to find value with the bomb.
No, the Envy is coming to the payload no matter what. It's in overtime. They get in for just a second. There's the Nano Death Blossom on the top, and Sharp frozen down. Overcommits. Envy down 2 to start the fight. And Second Wind might be putting the brakes on the payload. Here and now. That's how they go down. Envy, they drop the Blizzard. They have to hope this brings it on back. They do get the Reaper off the Blizzard. It's quite big. They end up with 3. Jaro's Blizzard. It might have turned the tide once more, even with how the thing, or how the fight started.
Oh, it's not even just the Blizzard either. It's the Fire Batiste. Fire, keeping everyone so healthy. Sure, they invest the Nano. Sure, Sharp does not get a lot of damage, but they didn't clean up those frags. They're caught on the point, and the Immortality Field keeping them alive long enough, the Blizzard zoning the damage long enough to where they could not clean it up. Second Wind could not finish those frags, and now they have to enter here again versus Envy's ult. They have Supercharger, they're going to have Amp-Matrix, they're going to have Nano.
This is an old favorite. Check your corners. Sharp sitting here in the back. Second Wind's going to drop down right into the grinder of Sharp shotguns. Sharp comes in for the back. It's a nice flank angle. Ends up having to flip back the other way. Blizzard, Second Wind, freeze things out. Death Blossom in from Izire. That's going to be enough. They finally stop the payload, but it went a long way for 1 minute in the bank.
An incredibly far distance there. That was a really, really far push for Havana for 1 minute on the clock. And when you look at the context of the fights on first, the fact that Evie got that far is almost miraculous. It shows that Second Wind just could not close out because of Envy's play. Envy being able to just get the pixel perfect counters they needed to deny Second Wind's aggression at times.
So for Second Wind, they're going to need to live up to their name and then some. This is quite a blow to recover from. Whatever music they need to play to pump themselves up, because lest you forget, their season is on the line. If they don't have an even greater overtime push, where it will be an overtime push, even if they were uncontested, it would be well over a minute to bring the payload that far. They need that level of push to stay alive and not be eliminated here. Envy, meanwhile, just saying, please, stand down. It's our destiny to go to the gauntlet.
And Envy, you see, look at this comp they're going to hold close with. They have the Fair Mercy. They have the Sombra here once again. So they're going to hold close. They're going to poke. They're going to burn time off the clock. And they're going to look to build towards that one fight winner they need. EMP Barrage. And even Tornado. Any of that. If they have those ult combos, that is their just press Q to win time. Especially if they burned ult on the second win.
Jaru starting with the far pressure on the top. And with 1 second Wind is running right now, I don't think this is ideal for dealing with the far. They're going to try and dominate the ND ground, but already Moira down! The Rockets striking deeply into Second Wind, and that's a huge blow to them where they don't have much time.
I mean, they also have no healer right now. They're still taking the fight, but they almost have 0 healing. Jaru's just sitting above them, untouchable. There's nothing they can do to turn around. And they've given him Barrage. Barrage is up for Jaru already. 30 seconds off the clock. That's half the time bank for Second Wind. And for Evie, they don't even have to commit to this fight. Even if they lose, they're going to walk into the next fight with EMP Barrage available. Second Wind, they have no support ult. Bird, they doesn't know what to play. Halo doesn't know what to play. They've gone now into the Ana Batiste, hoping that his Immortality Field will save them, and that's exactly the play they probably should make.
Jaru using the rooftops for cover. The EMP Barrage going to be on deck soon. But I think for Envy, they'd love to end this here and now. Second Wind, it's overtime. They can't lose another fight. Or if they do, their season is over. Barrage into the back here from Jaru.
Immortality Field, it's huge!
The Immortality Field blocks it, works so well for Envy here in the for Second Wind here in the moment. And Envy, they're going to be thrown back. However, they have plenty of time. Their offense gave them buffer for such a situation. And for Second Wind, it's only one step out of many.
But look at the ults for Second Wind. That was immaculate. That was immaculate from Halo. He's been having a game so far. He's been having a series. They've kept him in the fight. That's one of their win conditions removed. Now Sharp has the EMP, but another Immortality is going to be playing. You see where Halo's playing split. Bird's going to be playing split. They have other ults. The backline of Second Wind going to use these sight lines to their advantage. And even with the EMP, it's going to be tough for Evie to finish.
The EMP that can end Second Wind season here. The Dragon from Second Wind, forcing a slight rotation to have Envy. Numblock takes that one. 6 on 5. The EMP still on deck. EMP committed. Kaden in real danger. The Immortality Field keeping Kaden in back for not for long. The Bio nade to the back. And Envy, are they about to go to the gauntlet? The final few pickoffs on the way. Overtime ticking down. Second Wind, you fought valiantly, but you are done. Envy traveling to South Korea later this year.
And at the end of the day, even with that hero play coming out, even with them bringing it there to the bend, Envy just had they just had the better poke. They had the better trade there. They lost Frill so early there. They lost the Mei. The EMP comes out, and even with the Immortality Field, it's too much. The Nano's out. They're just walking forward all over them. And Envy showing why they're continually dominant in NA. Their coordination, their damage is sort of unmatched in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and not only that, I mean, the versatility for the team, where it's not a team where you just look to one person to be the hero, where I know we talked a lot about Sharp, but what about Jaru there to the very end? You want to talk about just landing the 3-pointers at the end to just remove all hope for a team. The far play, just devastating. One rocket after the other, just taking the wind out of Second Wind sails, and that was it.
I mean, I personally, for me, I have to look beyond both of them. Even I have to give the credit to the tank line for Envy. I said where are they going to perform? Are they going to adapt? And with the consistent presence there with the Envy backline in particular, and then they just made sure that they were constantly finding value with their pushes. They were trading out the shield wars very effectively. They were finding the halts. They played really well. They played really well as a unit overall.
So that is our third match of the day done and over with. Envy will be heading to the grand finals of their division tomorrow. But more importantly, they've secured their gauntlet spot regardless of what happens from here on out. Guys, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Atlanta Academy on deck.